Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. This will be kind of a short show today, namely because, a few reasons. Number one, I'm not feeling great, so I don't feel like doing this forever. And then number two, I don't want to give away too much because I'm filming episode 59. Is it 50? Am I at 59? 59 right now, and there's a lot of stuff in there, and I don't want to show everything here and then not give you any reason to watch episode 59. So I'm going to talk about some stuff, and then I'll answer some questions. I'll answer a lot more questions today than I usually do, and then after that, I'll run some trains for a couple minutes. I've got the Orient Express on the way out right now, so I'll run that, and then we'll take it from there. So anyway, I was cleaning out my garage yesterday, and I found this. This is an unused support for my big trestle bridge that goes across the room, and I didn't have a use for it, and so it just kind of sat up there, and I found it yesterday, and I thought it was kind of cool. I said, I should put this somewhere on the layout. I need to finish painting it. This isn't even painted or anything. Well, it's painted the undercoat, but I haven't painted the overcoat on it. But I should put this on the layout somewhere, like an abandoned bridge abandoned bridge somewhere, and I think that would be kind of cool. But I had totally forgotten about this. This is stainless steel. There's a little bit of plastic up here where I made it wider at the top, so this is plastic, but the rest is stainless steel, and kind of cool. I painted it the rust brown, but I didn't paint it I didn't put the salt on it and then do the overcoat of the main color. So it's sort of halfway done. So at some point I'll finish it, and maybe I'll put it on the layout somewhere where there could be an abandoned bridge. You see those all the time, where you see some bridge piers just kind of sticking up out of nowhere for no reason. There's a really cool bridge, a really cool abandoned railroad bridge up in North Georgia, right at the Georgia North Carolina border, I think, at the border. There's the Tallulah Gorge with the Tallulah River, and then they've got Tallulah Dam, and there's a little lake up there that's Tallulah Lake, and if you look over, like when you cross over the bridge, which I think is Highway 441, if you look out over the lake, you'll see these piers sticking up out of the water with nothing attached to them. And what it used to be a bridge for the Tallulah Falls Railroad, I think is what it was called, something like that, Tallulah Falls Railroad. And there used to be a resort up there way long ago, and they had a train line that ran up in there, and eventually, it declined, and people really didn't go up there for the resort anymore, and eventually the railroad was abandoned, and they dismantled the bridge, but the piers are still there, sitting in the water. And I've always kind of thought that was cool, that they're just kind of, it's like this ghost of a bridge or something. I don't know, but so maybe I'll do something like that with these, although I wouldn't put them in the water or anything like that, but it'd be kind of cool. If you ever up in North Georgia and you're riding on 441 going over Tallulah Dam, check it out. It's a real scenic up there. They're real scenic. They've got these Georgia Power has these trails that go down from there, and you can hike down there, and it's real nice. There's the dam is really narrow and tall, and and then there's a really narrow lake behind it called Tallulah Lake, and it's pretty cool scenery up there. That's where they filmed. That's where they filmed Deliverance back in the '70s. Was on the Tallulah. Oh, well, part of it was filmed on the Tallulah River. And they would open up. What they did in the movie was they built they closed the dam so there was no water in the river, and then they built these rails for the canoes to bounce off of and stuff like that to kind of guide the canoes, and then they opened up the dam and all the water came down and made it look like a raging river, and all the while under the water they had some rails installed to sort of guide the canoes. So kind of cool if you ever go up there. It's a cool area. Anyway, so that's the story of the thing. Now, last time I showed you the new Lionel Catalog, and I decided I've made my list of what I'm going to order, and I don't think I'll go over that now because I think I'd be kind of going over the same ground. But rest assured, I've ordered everything. I'm going to order everything I want. It's more of a question of what am I not going to order. But most of the scale stuff I'm going to try to get at least one of, and that should be fine. And then there's going to be a couple pieces of rolling stock that I'm also going to get as well. I'll post the list on my Facebook page at some point. You know what I like to do now when I get these catalogs. It's I kind of like to go from the back to the front. I like to look at the back pages first, because the back pages are always kind of interesting, and you kind of see the things that they really are not trying to show you right up front. But some of the things you see in the back are kind of interesting. So, for instance, on the next to the back page, you can see all the 2-rail conversion kits they're selling, because Lionel is going to allow you now to convert their cars to 2-rail if you want to. So they're selling all these 2-rail kits to do that conversion, which is kind of cool. And then something else back here that I'm, then they have these power lines that look really nice. I've seen these in the store and I've thought about getting them. They're really nice. They're scale. And then they've got there's one thing back here that I am going to order, and that is there's a railroad details pack, and it's just got stuff that you'd have on the side of the rails. So it's got a couple of relay cabinets. It's got a defect detector right here, and then it's also got a flange lubricator right here. So it's a pack that has 5 items in it for $25, and I thought that would be pretty cool to put those things around the layout somewhere. So I'll probably order 1 or 2 of those railroad detail packs. Pretty cool. So and then you go forward and you see stuff that you might not. It used to be that I was always start at the front of the catalog. And then by the time I got to the back, I was kind of like, in a hurry and not really paying attention to much. But, nowadays I like to look at the back because you see all the cool stuff they have. They got some really cool building kits that they're coming out with, and they've got the school, which is, I saw the prototype for that up in Concord when I was there, that school building. And they got the Rico Station back. So, kind of fun. You can kind of see some of the more minor stuff that might not really make the headlines, but might be kind of cool. So, just a little story there. Let's see here. Right now, October is going to be a very busy month. I'm going to be all over the place. I've got a couple of open houses this month. The first one is coming up this time next week, so next Sunday. And that's going to be a full day, I believe, from 11 to 5. And it should be a lot of fun. The only problem is that I've got a lot to do, and I don't have a lot of time to do it. So I'm trying to work as fast as I can, as possible. most of at this time of the year, right before the open house, most of the stuff I'm working on is actually not on the layout. It's actually around the layout, so I'm trying to get everything cleaned up because most of the time this layout room is a complete mess, and so I'm trying to get all the boxes off the floor, get all of the construction supplies off the floor, and this is a perfect example. A couple minutes ago when I was setting the camera up for this show, I found a nail on the floor. So that's not the kind of thing you want when you're having a bunch of kids come over to see your layout. So I have to go and vacuum and then take a magnet and go over and pick up any pieces of metal that might be on the floor. And then there's also the display thing. I got to get the display cases built, if any are needed, to store engines that I don't have anywhere to put them. Which is a nice thing about, I'll talk about that in a minute. But the shelves, I just built a new shelf up in the stairway, and it's done. It's installed. I installed it today, and it has 9 shelves that are 36 inches long. So it should hold about 18 diesels or 9 steam engines. It's mainly going to hold diesels. The shelves in the stairway mainly hold diesels, although there are some exceptions. But that's up. But I still have to get the plexiglass front for it, and so I'm going to have to order that tomorrow from the glass guy and get that installed before Sunday. And then it's just back in the Carolina room. The Carolina is a complete mess right now. I'll take you back there because that's probably the messiest room you're going to see. I'm going to turn this around. Just a little sneak preview. There's the new shelf up there. The hallway room was really dirty. It's not quite as dirty as it was. I've still got a couple items that I need to put somewhere, but it's getting cleaner. It was a complete mess yesterday. But yeah, here in the Carolina room, there's a saw on the floor, there's sawdust all over the place, and then I've got all these transformers on the table that I'm doing that are for another video that I'm filming. But in the meantime, I got to put these transformers somewhere for the open house. So I'm in the process of doing that. It may look full now, but there were a lot more transformers here a couple days ago. Now what I did is I built a couple shelves back in the back room here to put the transformers on. But yeah, a lot of mess to clean up. And then so I got to get this table all cleaned off. I got to get everything cleaned up around here so that when people show up for the open house, it doesn't look like a disaster. And that's really what most of the work this time of year is. The Colorado room is pretty clean. I've got I got an engine that I'm working on and a couple, ins and outs sitting around, but it's in pretty good shape. And that's pretty much it for what's going on with the the cleanliness of the layout right now. I'm going to put this back on the stand. So like I said, there's a lot of cleanup work going on, and just getting the layout ready for people to come and see. And then on top of that, I gotta clean the layout. I gotta clean all the track. I have to vacuum the layout to get all the dust off everything. I have to dust all the trains that are on the shelves, because nothing drives me crazier than when I go to someone's layout and there are dust and cobwebs everywhere. It drives me crazy because I'm like, it makes it look like you don't care about your layout, or that you just haven't taken care of your layout in a long time. I know some people are like that. Some people work on their layouts seasonally, and so in the summer they don't do much, and they do a lot in the winter. But it still drives me crazy if people are coming to see my layout, I don't want there to be dust or cobwebs anywhere. And believe me, there are dust and cobwebs all over the place because throughout the year things get dirty. So what I have to do is I have to go through and dust everything, vacuum everything, and get everything nice and clean, so that when people show up, it looks like I have a layout that I care about, and that is not gathering dust. And that's especially true for the trains on the shelf. People are always looking at the trains on the shelf, and you don't want there to be a layer of dust half an inch thick on your train. So there's that. So it's just a lot of stuff that I got to clean under the layout, make sure I can get under there in case anything derails. So it's a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff going on, and that's the long and short of it. So that's what I'm working on this week, and hopefully it'll all be in. I don't have a choice. It has to be all done by next week, by next Sunday. We're going to be catering next Sunday, so we're going to have. I think we're going to have barbecue. So if you want to come by and see the layout, we're going to have some barbecue, and it should be a lot of fun. And I've said this in the previous videos, but if you want to come and see the layout for the open house, check out the Piedmont Pilgrimage website at www.piedmontpilgrimage.com, and that'll give you all the information you need on the Piedmont Pilgrimage tour of layouts, and on the information for my open house as well. So there's the open house next Sunday, then I go to York, then I come back, then we have another open house on the 29th. That'll be a half day. That'll be from 10 to 2. And I think that's on a Saturday, the 29th. So got a busy month, got a lot to do, a lot of stuff I want to get done. I did get some new stuff in, and I'll show this in episode 59 as well, but it's not complete. Let me turn this around. I'd like to run these for the open house, but I don't know if I'll have the time. But these are the new maxi stack things from Atlas, and they're really cool looking. As you can see, I got two sets, so I actually have 6 cars. So you're seeing half of it right here. The problem is I don't have any of the containers, and so it doesn't really do me a lot of good to run them or review them without the containers. And so I am waiting on the containers to ship, and as soon as they do, these will be nice and full, and I'll be able to run them. Hopefully I'll have the containers before the open house, and I'll be able to run these during the open house, during the next Sunday's open house. I'll probably definitely have the containers in time for the second open house at the end of this month. But yep, there they are. So really cool. I've got a lot of these well cars that Atlas makes, and this is the newest rendition, and they're really cool. All metal too. Pretty neat. So if I had thought ahead, I was kind of stupid. I didn't order the containers when I ordered the maxi stacks, and so I've got these nice, beautiful cars with no containers to go in them. Fortunately, Atlas made a 6-pack, so you can buy 1 pack and just fill the whole set. So I'm going to buy 2 of those 6-packs, and that should do it. And we'll be in good shape. So what I'm going to do now is just answer some questions. And I've got my laptop over here so I can see what people are asking. One of these days, I have a frequently asked questions section on my website, but I don't think anybody ever looks at it. Because if they did, they wouldn't ask half the questions they ask. But it seems I get the same questions over and over and over and over. So, but anyway. So we got a lot of questions here. So let me see if I can scroll through these. Brennan wants to know when's the next York train show. It's next week. It's always in mid-October, almost always. Um, Let me see if I can go back here and find some questions.